Hero here for Umbra Games with a review of Dragon Quest Heroes 2, exclusively for PlayStation 4. Released at the end of April 2017, the sequel to 2015's hack-and-slash Dragon Quest title brings a brand new world with a more open format, several new features, and a lot of new characters, but with the same thumb-exhausting action. The Dragon Quest Heroes series is a cooperative development between SquareEnix, owner of the Dragon Quest franchise, and Omega Force, which is a developing division within Koei Tecmo, more specifically the one behind the endlessly iterative Warriors franchises, be it Dynasty or Samurai. They've also done a few other mashups in the Musou style, with licensed products including 2015's Hyrule Warriors, based on the Zelda universe, and more recently Berserk and the Band of the Hawk, based on an anime. The period of 1,000 years of peace is on the verge of ending as random battles break out across the Seven Kingdoms. You choose a main protagonist between two cousins, a male and a female, and go forth into the land finding new allies from your world and other worlds, as familiar faces from the Dragon Quest franchise appear to join your band of heroes, each with unique abilities, skill trees, weapons, and playstyles. The party slowly uncovers an evil plot to sink the world into ruin, and do their best to stop the coming destruction. If you've never played anything from the Warriors franchise, the typical formula is choosing from dozens of characters, going out to a large battlefield, and then laying waste to hundreds of enemies, several at a time in fact, while doing large sweeping arc moves and crazy abilities. Often you'll have to watch where you choose to take enemies out first so as to watch your commander's backs. This keeps them in the fight and not in an overwhelming retreat. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 missions also have you reaching edges of maps to move through areas, as well as taking down giant bosses. Your typical combos are here with various iterations of square square triangle and triangle square triangle, etc. to perform combos unique to each character. You can have 4 base abilities on a character at any given time and access them by holding, I think R1 was the default, but I moved it to R2, and then you press one of the face buttons. Now I moved it to R2 because R2 was roll and L1 was defend, which sort of put the controller off balance to me. There's actually a preset option in the menu to flip these, so I can't be the only one that felt that way. You can switch between your 4 party members at any time with a quick tap of the L2 button. If anyone falls in battle, you have a limited supply of Yggdrasil leaves that refill automatically every time you go back to town. Similarly, you have a healstone cache that does the same thing. Monster medals make their return, dropping from enemies, enabling you to use defeated enemies to aid you in battle. There are 3 kinds of medals: minions, where they'll fight beside you with a green health bar above their heads to show you that they're yours; spells, where they'll come down and unleash a powerful attack or buff; and substitution, where you actually take the form of that monster for a limited time damage combination and can use that creature's abilities. I even found a shade named Umbra. One of the new features of Dragon Quest Heroes 2 are the character classes. You can take the cousins to a priest and change their vocation. At first, 5 classes are available, but more can be unlocked by leveling the existing classes and then completing a quest. Each time you switch one of the cousins' vocations, you begin at level 1. Each class can become proficient in multiple weapons, whereas the other party members you acquire will stick to the one they start with. The more you use a weapon in combat, the more proficiency you gain, up to a maximum of 15, with each level granting some pretty nice bonuses, as well as new party skills. Party skills are something that can be equipped multiple at a time, up to a point maximum. These grant additional buffs and stat boosts. I think one of the neatest improvements to the entire Warrior series, and Dragon Quest specifically, is the new open world format. There are areas called Wild Zones, which connect to each other, allowing you to revisit many places. Some of the battlefields themselves don't seem to be revisitable, but there are new areas you can access after recruiting new party members that will lead you to new treasures and monsters. You discover zoom crystals in each of these zones, which enable fast travel via zoom spell. The word just released online that the upcoming Dynasty Warriors 9 game will be open world, and I'm wondering if that came from technological enhancements through these games, or if it was just a positive reaction from players. Anyway, Accordia is the main hub town you'll be visiting a lot, and there are several amenities there. In the traditional nun church fashion, the center of town is where you'll save your game. You do have to go through the usual 3 dialogue boxes and listen to the pretty organ music to save. Which actually reminds me, this isn't something I've noticed a lot in games, but you know when you're jamming through dialogue you've read before, so you just press XXX until it's done, just to find out you actually selected an option that popped up that you didn't mean to? Well, in this game, you can press the control pad to scroll dialogue, and it doesn't make the button input. Absolutely fantastic. So there's a weapon shop that offers new gear through story completion, and some side quests, as well as an orb dealer, which is the main form of defense your characters will equip. Even sticking with mainly the same 4 party members throughout the game, it was difficult to stay up on current equipment due to their prices. So prepare for a little bit of grinding if you want to do that. You can also have 3 accessories equipped per character, and the alchemist can upgrade those items on a pathed upgrade system, for varying amounts of random enemy drops and recycled accessories. When I say random enemy drops, I think it even varied between accessories of the same type, which brings about a kind of grind I personally didn't feel like taking. Just don't sell extra accessories of ones you plan on upgrading. I did that due to my weapon crisis, and I may have let a few go and regretted it later without having received any warning. Another new feature is a trade post, where 5 or 6 offers will be available at a time, exchanging 2 ingredients from you in exchange for one of a more rare type. There's a side quest post where the majority of side content becomes available through talking to NPCs or story progression. Some of the quests are timed and you have to get to a region, find your targets, and eliminate them on a countdown that started as soon as you accepted the quest. Others just have you gathering drops. While the quests give you something to do while you're grinding money or experience, the rewards for about 80% of them were kinda disappointing. Sure, this is how you get new classes and new healing stones and Yggdrasil leaf capacity, but minimal money and mini medals just didn't seem quite as fitting for some of the tasks that are assigned. Another form of side content is available, and I believe this is returning from the first game. There's an NPC that keeps track of all enemies you defeat. As you beat varying tiers of them, you get cash rewards, and when maximized, you get mini medals. It's the second time I've mentioned mini medals now. They're a form of currency used to purchase rare items and equipment. I was saving for the top tier weapons, which are 120 medals apiece, and after 35 hours with the game, I think I ended somewhere around 80 medals. There is a New Game Plus though. One thing this series does that I love is reward you for PlayStation trophies. An NPC you visit will show you the trophy list and reward you with more mini medals when you stop by. I think in-game rewards for trophies and achievements is one of the neatest things designers can do. Now, there is some cooperative multiplayer to be had, but it's not a full campaign as one would hope. When entering a battlefield, you can choose to call for help and another player can join you. Alternatively, you can go to the bar in the hub town and join someone else's game to give them support. As I often do with multiplayer add-ins like this though, I skipped it. You know, the first Dragon Quest Heroes game was fun when they had excuses and reasons for characters being in each other's worlds that kind of tied to the main plot. But now it seems like it's we've done this character so no one will think twice about them mysteriously appearing, and at this point, kind of gets that been there done that feeling. In fact, characters from the first Dragon Quest Heroes game don't have any recognition of the ones they've met before, which sort of breaks the story immersion as well. I don't think the characters themselves in the Dragon Quest series have really made enough of an impression, or we've held them in our hearts over the years. I could just be speaking for me personally though. I'd almost just rather them do all new original characters and just use that brand new game world. I think the last Dynasty Warriors I played had like 42 some odd characters, so there is an obsession of Omega Force to cram as many playable characters as possible, which for the endless grinding types that probably play this game, that's probably their thing. They don't need things to fit together in a plot, they just want variety and replay value. Omega Force, though, is now venturing into rich legacies, and while they're doing a great job of blending the two franchises, there's tons more they could do just by taking a few more steps. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 makes me want to see a full-on open-world action RPG where you're moving from town to town, going into dungeons, and beating bosses in a true epic role-playing game format, while having all combat take place Musou style. I think both these games have taken a step closer to that. My final thought was a bit of frustration on the end boss. I had no trouble at any point in the game defeating things and making progress for the pace at which I was going. I got obliterated by the last boss. I did a moment of research to check suggested level, and I was pretty much there. But I saw people making comment about the character Carver's artificial intelligence being the best, and having Angelo and Mina in your party were a must. So I switched to a player suggested party and destroyed the boss without anyone even going down or getting close to trouble. Realize the game may be difficult to balance, but I don't quite see the point of including so many characters that don't function on an equal level. I'm willing to accept this could just be my experience and not others, but I'm telling you, it was black and white. Another interesting point on that is you can watch your party members be targeted and get hit with area of effect spells and not really take any damage. When I took control of Angelo on the last boss and fired away from a distance, he stayed focused on Teresa, the main female protagonist, instead of me. She wasn't taking the damage like I did when I played her, and he definitely focused on me then too. Not sure if this was intentional or not. Anyway, if you're a Dragon Quest fan or a Warriors fan that wants a bit of a change in environment, you don't mind wearing out the square and triangle button on your controller, enjoy a high-resolution, cartoony art style, you want a lot of replay and grind value in a new open-world Musou game with diverse characters and multiple ways of progression, facing tons of enemy types, big and small, with a decent amount of side content, check out Dragon Quest Heroes 2. The first from Koei Tecmo to really push the bounds of the hack-and-slash genre into an action RPG hybrid. Rated as such, Dragon Quest Heroes 2 lands at an 83 out of 100, with 50 being an average game. This is Jiro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching. Constantly working through the backlog while simultaneously trying to keep up with new titles, hit the subscribe button for notifications of more videos, or follow me on Twitter @Umbra Games.